So I made a program in ClickTeam Fusion. It's basically Click and Play 5. And I will show you it. It's this. It doesn't... Alright. Now I will put it back and show you what it does. Now, I need to think of some clever... Maybe you guys can help me brainstorm, because I need to think of some funny and interesting ways to use this program. I was originally going to use it to browse Hypnospace pages, and then this would be an overlay. So for example, if a page had, like, I don't know, alright, let me turn this music off. Goodbye. So for example, if someone's page had the cutest dog that I've ever seen on it, then they would get this. And then I could do that. Or like if I wanted to count the amount of swears that someone had on their page, then I can do that. And then also, this is one of the this is the cool, in my opinion, this next part has the most potential. Also, I can spawn objects. Anyway, this next part has the most potential. Is this I kind of stole this idea from my brother and me. They had a episode where they were talking about like meters. Put like if they had little progress bars or meters or something over the top of TV shows or movies while you're watching them, and then like you'd have the stinky meter, and then like once you get to the, like, I don't know, let's say it's Lord of the Rings, and then once you get to the end, it would be like way up there, you know, when they're all dirty and nasty and climbing on Mount Doom or whatever. But I was thinking I could use these meters while browsing the internet. So if a web page is striking me as particularly stinky, then I could put it up. And then what's another meter? What's another kind of meter? Like what's a thing that maybe websites or can be funny meter? I don't know. What are some funny colors? Sure. Oh, cheesy meter. That's good. And then, like, if there's a lot of cheese. Wait, I'm going to make that slightly darker. Maybe a dark gold. Here we are. The cheese meter. I don't know. This may all be for naught, really, but anyway, so and then there is also there's also a challenge. So like, let's say I'm browsing the net and it's like, oops. Oh well. Hold on. What, you can look at that while I wait. Dog jokes. Okay. So find 5 dog jokes in 20 minutes. Maybe pet jokes. Pet joke pages. Okay, so we got this. All right. And then you can just pretend that it's been going for, and then I would keep it in the corner, and I would have to find, wait, let me put this somewhere. All right. And then that would happen, and I would have to, I can make one of these, and it would be, and then I would have pet jokes, and then once I'm browsing the net and I find one, I can click it to add, oh yeah, discomfort meter is a good idea. Oh, all right. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong thing. Okay, get back here, you fool. Okay, e-meter, that's nice. Oh, God. I didn't find enough pet jokes. I only got 4. I lost. Anyway, I also added bombs. So, and then if I did win, then I could be like, you did it. You found them. I did it. But what I was going to do was, like, for hypnospace pages that people made, I was going to, you know, use these tools to, hold on. Let me clean up here. Use these tools to, you know, kind of interact with the pages in some way and, like, do some commentary on them. And possibly I could, e-meter is a very good idea. I keep looking at this. I was thinking, well, maybe I could also do this on the GeoCities archive. But I think this depends. This is really a blank slate, you know? Like, it really depends on me feeling funny. So maybe it would help, like, in a jokey mood. Maybe it would help if I had someone on Skype with me, like, while this happened. I don't know. So this is the thing that I made. I was thinking of doing some challenges. Like, back a year ago, I made some hypnospace page challenges, or maybe a year and a half ago, and make the spookiest page and make the, you know, so maybe I could use this system if I did more page making challenges to look at the submitted pages. Or you know what? I could do, like, for example, let's change this. Let me move that. So I could do best. Oops, didn't mean to do that actually. Page, and then make the best spooky page in 5 minutes. And then like no, stop it. And then like maybe we'll give people 5 minutes. And then I could, if people can stream the page builder, then I could just switch between their, like maybe through Discord or something, I could switch between their screens and show their progress over the 5 minutes as they're building the pages. And then as they're doing it, maybe I could mess with the meters and give them awards as they're making the pages. Slowest at typing. Slow typist award. Oops, I didn't mean to do that either. Go away. Okay, so yeah. You won. You're slow at typing. Anyway, I don't know. Oh my gosh, I need to add tomatoes. Alright, I'll show you that. This is the thing. And this is my interface. A lot of things are just triggered, like me pushing the letter B. B will spawn a bomb wherever. And then, you know, if this is the staging area, so I type like, turn into a counter, skulls, and then I type, I can choose the, you know, and then I drag it over here, you know. O is spawning objects. Yeah. You can do a lot of them. And then they kind of bug out a little bit. You can also draw bombs. Goodbye. Hey, I'm doing pretty well. So that's what that is. That's what it looks like. So, tomatoes throwing at the screen is a very smart idea. So now that you've seen this, though, anyone got any ideas? Like, what the heck? How do you use this thing? There's some potential here, but I was thinking maybe over video is possible. Is a thing. Let's see. I don't want to make fun of stuff though, like, or be degrading. You know, a lot of this is weird just because it's stuff, you know, I don't know about, and I could watch, you know. Yeah, we could do. So I'm too dumb to like do Twitch integration, though I think it is possible in Click Team Fusion. So it could be possible for you guys to control meters at some point. But yeah. Oh, hey, thanks. I hope you had fun. Could you link your game, or if you'd rather not, that's cool. Computer Chronicles. You don't have to be sorry. We don't have a high volume enough chat for it to be annoying that you're writing a lot of words, so I think it's fine. And I appreciate that. That's very nice. Let's see. Of course, virtual reality. I've seen this one before. They probably have it in the Copland. All right, let's try this. What meters? A nerd meter. No.
When you watch The Weatherman on your local TV news, that is a form of artificial reality. There's no real map behind me. It's just a plain blue screen. A computer creates that illusion. Well, the next step is virtual reality, which allows me to interact with that artificial environment behind me. And as you can see here, this is a virtual reality game called Continuum, and I can actually move inside
he said something
and turn around and see it from all kinds of different angles. Now, if you think this stuff is just for fun and games, you are wrong. There are some important and serious applications using this new technology, as we'll find out today when we focus on virtual reality on this edition of the Computer Chronicles.
You can post it here or on Discord, it doesn't matter. E-meter is a really good idea.
Computer Chronicles has been made possible in part by PC Connection and Mac Connection.
No swears in this show.
And hardware performance for the PC and the
Not stinky.
educational materials to help manage software. Don't copy that floppy.
Don't do it. Oh, hold on.
Welcome to the Computer Chronicles. I'm Stuart Chaffee, and with me this week is Jim Kramer, president of Virtual Technologies. Jim, when we read about virtual reality these days, it tends to be about arcade games. You pay a certain amount of money and you put these goggles on your head and you shoot down aliens in 3 dimensions and so on. You are developing a virtual reality application using your cyber glove, which you call the talking glove, that's far more important and far more serious. Tell us how it works.
Well, the talking glove uses the gesture recognition capabilities of the cyber glove. Here I'm finger spelling as the American finger spelling alphabet, and as I'm spelling, those letters are being spoken and being displayed for us all.
So could you actually do words?
Yeah, so this doesn't...
Letters?
Sure.
Hello. Stuart.
Yeah, there's nothing cheesy about it. What's a different kind of meter?
Today.
That's fantastic. So even though I can't understand sign language, I know what you're telling me because you've translated it for me.
Right. The talking glove allows a non-speaking deaf or deaf-blind person to communicate with a hearing person.
Jim, what you're doing there, I guess, would be called gesture recognition. What other kinds of applications would there be for gesture recognition in a cyber glove?
Well, you can use the same gesture recognition routines to control a graphic interface.
And we'll see some of that later in the program. All right, indeed, we'll see several virtual reality applications today, including the virtual hand, the data glove, the cyber glove, and cyber CAD. Now, you know a category is maturing.
There was one in there.
Trade show. Well, at the recent Software Development Conference in Santa Clara, California, there it was, the virtual reality show.
It's not quite Comdex yet, but it was the computer industry's first virtual reality exhibit. AI Expert magazine hosted the show, which included 6 VR vendors and products that were still clearly in the development stage.
We're looking at the Model T Fords.
Cyber. Oh, okay. Hold on. All right, I'll make it.
The headgear is uncomfortable. But what's exciting about this showcase is the promise of the technology.
Crystal River Technology was one of the exhibitors. While everyone else seems to be focusing on the visual aspects of virtual reality, their approach is to work on virtual audio.
Since the visual systems that we're working with today are not very good,
This is very cyber.
Very precise stereo imagery system. But we can build a very precise audio imagery system. And we're closer to closing the loop all the way to production systems that are almost mistakable for real life.
You may think you need expensive equipment to experiment with virtual reality, but one company here claims to have an inexpensive system that lets you turn CAD drawings into virtual reality environments.
We provide full virtual reality functionality, working on a standard IBM-compatible PC, all being done with no programming required by the end user. So a complete, easy to use, and I don't want to forget the portable virtual reality system that people can actually load on a stock PC.
But what can you actually do with this stuff? At Straylight Corporation, they're already planning the virtual shopping mall.
Another application is marketing research, where people are planning out store shelf plans, and researchers will take subjects to a store that's a virtual store and let them select packages and items on the shelves and try different arrangements to find out what the most attractive arrangement will be for a particular product.
For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Maria Gabriel.
The cyber meter is going to be all the way up the whole time.
In these early days of virtual reality, we tend to think of it in a game or adventure environment, but virtual reality is also an important design tool. Here to show us some examples are Chris Alice, cyberspace missionary with Autodesk, and also Linda Jacobson, who is a computer writer and editor and specialist in the area of virtual reality, and who put together this handy-dandy guide to virtual reality from the people who make.
I don't know enough about Copeland to know when they're lying, though.
So much hype about virtual reality and so much confusion about it. What is the state of the art right now? What is virtual reality? Where's the technology at?
It's coming out of the labs and into our laps, almost. Almost, Stuart. The technology that's called virtual reality has been around in the 40s and was mostly found in huge research institutions, mostly government-related, military-related. then moved into the giant educational institutions and is now moving down into the labs and offices of private
I don't know what year
businesses
this
that are
is.
creating systems for people like doctors and architects and scientists to use to help them understand their data.
So we have cyberspace missionaries like Chris at Autodesk. What's the philosophy at Autodesk? How are you using the concept of virtual reality?
Well, right now we're working on developing software tools that software applications developers will use to write these applications.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Up until now, people have pretty much been
the stinky meter is too fun. Pretty much any guy is going to have the stinky meter.
To get started and to be widespread, the people who don't have expertise in real-time
I can do more meters if you guys have ideas.
Pieces of code and so forth that they can put together, so they only need to work in their particular areas of expertise.
If I miss one, please call me out.
Hardware here. Why don't you go through this whole setup for us, Chris, and tell us what's here?
Okay. Well, first of all, we're running this software, these simulations on PCs, a 386.
Oh, that's a good idea.
We have a variety of I/O devices. Remember, VR is not about just exotic I/O devices. You can run it with a mouse, regular old Microsoft mouse, up to the more exotic sorts of input devices. Yeah, this is Data Glove. This is one of the two items that the public
nice
seems
brown.
mostly associate.
Can I get a brown?
The other are the goggles, the head-mounted display. You have the computer tracks this as you wear it. You have two small TV sets inside, the computer's displaying, and it really allows you to be in the middle of the computer.
Okay, you guys, it's too much. I'll have to use some of these. The beard length is good. I mean, is that good hair?
Okay, this is actually a...
One thing I need to do is change the volume on the...
VR having to have goggles and gloves. So I'm controlling this display just with a mouse and eventually with a keyboard. But it's still, the display is still, I'm looking up, I'm looking down, and looking left and right and so forth. So it's still governed from the viewpoint of somebody who's wearing a head-mounted display.
So you are kind of moving around in that environment, controlling it with a mouse.
I have balls here that are suspended
You're
in
welcome.
space. Now they're attached. I can increase gravity, decrease gravity, and so forth. I can.
So you're not pulling that. You're changing the physical parameters of that environment.
I'm changing the physical. Yes.
Yeah.
If I did nerd meter, I would just click it every time I see a person.
Get a little closer,
and for all of you guys, and for me.
One of these and make it heavy.
Hold on a second. Then, okay, I like that idea. Here, I gotta get. This would be a counter. Okay, so. I haven't ever done this many counters and meters, so... Dang it, I didn't mean to drop a bomb. Okay. What color would a ball meter be? Just gray. No. You know, I'm gonna get rid of the pet joke meter. That's just not... Here we go. It's when I push B and the cursor should be, so the cursor should be over here, and if I press B, nothing happens. But if I push it when it's over there, then that's a dumb system, but it's fine. Okay. All right. So, all right. Let's do this then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 balls. All right, let's do this. Did they make a cat joke? Oh man. I wasn't paying attention.
Detach one end.
Right.
You get the kind of interaction, and now I can add energy to the system. And you get the kinds of movement that you might expect. Or if I reach down here perhaps and grab one of these, let's see.
Right.
And I can move up and...
So you can sort of play in that world.
Right. This is
energy
this isn't,
meter.
say, a complete application.
Sure.
This is merely a demo that one of the programmers worked
Energy's
out
too
to
vague,
test
maybe?
out physics, to test out.
Well, you have another
Oh,
one
I
that maybe
didn't
people
think
can
you were
relate
thinking
to,
that.
which
I was
is
just
a
thinking out loud, though.
billiards
Right. So,
simulation.
yeah, let me bring that up. This is when you add a little more.
Oh, I got it.
little
I
more
got it.
complicated interactions
Hold on a second.
to the simulation. I'll wait for it to come up here, and
Okay.
again, you've got
Now you're controlling where you are with the mouse.
with the mouse, and this is actually another kind of view. This is deciding that what I'm really interested in is the cue ball, and so no matter where I look, I'm going to be rotating around the cue ball. And give that a little shot here.
And so here you've got to be
And here
simulating
we
the
can
real
actually-
physics of this environment.
Ooh, almost in.
Mm-hmm.
If I just move this over here,
I got one.
check it out, maybe with an overhead.
All right, Chris, what's going on over here on the left-hand monitor?
Okay, well, actually, what you're seeing here is the same simulation
What is
that we
it?
were seeing earlier.
What is a
on the
short
other
way I could
computer
say
with
him
different
like?
graphics hardware,
So the
that
ball's
it-
hanging from the two arches.
Right. This looks different, but the same software and so forth. It's being controlled this time by the head-mounted display. So as this moves, the picture moves.
Excuse me, Chris.
Yes.
You have a volunteer.
You'd like to try it.
Yeah, I
Okay,
would.
so Linda will go into the
All
world
right.
of virtual reality.
I'm in it.
All right.
And we're seeing then on this computer monitor what
there it
she
is.
is seeing.
There
Right.
it is.
And so she tilts her head left,
And look
right,
left.
up,
Actually, I
down,
can
etc.
move her in a little closer here, and she actually can get much more of a feel of just how large this model is. And as I
Dadgummit.
change-
All right, guys.
Now what are you changing, Chris?
I'm changing gravity there so that the pull on these.
Here, hold on. I
these
gotta
touches
fix
is
this
slightly
now.
smaller. And
So Linda,
actually,
There,
your world
I
is
fixed it.
changing as he's adjusting this.
I'm
Yeah.
getting
I
lighter
think
and
they're still
lighter.
10.
So if you just sight in on one of those, whoa, here, just here, steady down, and let's grab one.
Okay. How about that
So
one?
you're going to make that object heavy.
Yeah, and it settles
Oops.
down a little more, a little more.
Sorry.
So
You
Linda,
can see that actually more if we increase gravity
Yeah.
here.
Whoa.
whoops, so Linda has to bring her head down to keep up with you.
Right.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And so that adds in.
But we're
then
probably
that
not gonna be-
additional
okay.
spatial sense.
Okay, now can we
that
add
one might
the
have.
glove element now? What does this do?
Okay, well actually,
glove.
in order to add the glove, I'm going to move over to another demo. This is actually older software than what we're.
Great.
Not
Now
the
he's not
latest
even going to
working
show
with
us
it.
any.
Not the latest
Show
stuff,
how the glove
but it
works
provides a
in
good
fundamentals,
example of
okay.
just how glove interaction might happen. So put this on, one finger per, standard issue. This is
Okay.
good. That's good, good, good. Okay.
So now basically this glove is the input device and the goggles are the output device for Linda.
Right.
So she can determine now what she's going to look at by pointing.
By pointing where she wants to move within the model. So at this point, if you make a fist,
So you're going to
just sort of-
calibrate the glove right now.
Yeah,
So
tell
it knows what a fist is and what an
Got it.
open hand
right,
is.
and it's
And now we can
sort of
see
letting
her
you know.
hand on the screen in this
Right.
environment. And Linda,
It's
tell us
actually-
what are you doing now? What's your experience?
Well, I'm definitely in cyberspace, and you can see I'm moving my hand. You can see my hand in cyberspace also moving.
Oh man, how many is
Maybe
that?
Point
Someone
someplace where you
count
wanna
them.
go,
Let's go there.
and
Let's
you'll
go
get
there.
it flying.
Let's go there.
And you just
Whoa!
follow
I just flew right through a
You follow your
column
hand.
there. Okay, let's go in the other direction. Let's go up. Can I go up?
Yes.
So you're in charge of this
Let's go
world,
down.
Linda. Okay,
Right.
we're going to have to get
Okay.
out of this world, guys. We're out of
Okay.
time.
Oh.
Sorry. Close
Sorry.
encounter with a chair there.
Right.
All right.
Chris, Linda,
What
thank
is
you
a
very
word
much.
meaning you're wowed?
All right, here's a
You're
classic problem. Your
amazed.
architect is designing a new home, and you're trying to decide whether to spend more money for some extra goodie. But what will it look like, you say? With a virtual reality product called Walkthrough, you can get an answer.
It's very hard to show
Okay.
clients what something's going to look
Yeah.
like if you're trying
Duh.
to represent it on a piece of two-dimensional paper.
Architect Larry Mortimer has solved that problem by using a new virtual
folks.
reality program called the Virtus Walkthrough. It lets the client actually see a proposed design.
The other thing that that Virtus allows us to do is to change things very easily. Even while we're having a session with the client, we can change parts of the model. We can add windows very easily. We can add furniture to the model. We can do what-ifs until we're just tired of doing them.
While the virtual reality software can't replace the real thing, It does help the client to visualize the architect's plans.
You're spending an awful lot of money
Thanks.
in a project like this, and
Oh
if
my God, I
there's
should
way
add a
that you
dog,
can, see
a
the
pet
space
meter, just when they show pets.
feel the space before it's built, then I think it makes the client feel more secure about the money that's being spent.
Changing the design is easy. You simply point, click, or drag. In other words, you don't have to be a computer expert to use the software.
You have the ability to walk through a drawing almost
I mean,
in
that's
real
not
time.
Stuart, but
When we show a model to a client, quite often the client will,
is that good
ask,
hair?
well, can we look at this view, or can we look
He
at
doesn't
there?
smell. He smells good.
Turn around and look at what we just walked through. And with Vertus, you can do that. You can tailor what you're seeing to what the client is asking you right on the spot with just moving the mouse
Okay,
and
so
clicking in various directions.
so which meters?
Vertus Walkthrough is available for the Macintosh for
old
under
meter.
$300. For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Maria Gabriel.
Wait, cyber's way down now. We're not in cyberspace.
One virtue of virtual reality is that it lets us communicate with a computer in 3 dimensions rather than just 2 dimensions. Here to show us how is Jim Kramer, president of Virtual Technologies. Jim, your glove is called the Cyber Glove, and you've just put it on.
Just a little
Tell us
bit
exactly
more.
what's going on in that glove and what we're seeing in the screen here.
Right. This is a 22 sensor cyber glove. It has sensors over each of the 3
So
main
an old
knuckles
meter?
of
Is
the
that what
main
I need
4
to put on
fingers.
here?
It also has abduction sensors between each of the fingers, in addition to a wrist pitch and yaw sensor and a thumb rotation sensor.
All right, so as we look at the screen, what's happening?
Well, this is a fairly simple hand model, although it does show the functionality of the cyber glove.
And it's following the movement of all the joints in your hand right now.
Okay.
Right. So as I flex my fingers, the different colored fingers on the screen are also flexing. What I'd like to draw attention to is the accuracy that we can actually control.
I'm
the
just going to
glove.
call it old.
Touching to the point of
each
touching.
of the
Should it be a
fingertips.
meter or a counter?
And,
Oops.
again, the thumb can rotate fully across the palm and give you a lot of different articulations of the hand.
Now, Jim, what are the
So
sensors
should it be a
in
counter?
the glove that can do this so finely?
Or
It's a resistive
a
technology
meter.
that it's linear, and it gives a very high resolution output, and that's a big advantage because a different size hand, for example, wearing the same glove, it will produce the same outputs from the sensors, so it's unnecessary to calibrate when you change hands.
Yeah, exactly. I noticed you didn't calibrate when we began, but if I want, I mean, can you calibrate that glove to fine-tune it even more?
Yes, you can. We have a slider menu here where you can change just the offsets and gain of each sensor. As I said,
wait, I
they're
need to
linear,
put the
so
cyber.
So you can adjust every one of those
the
points.
2 parameters are for each of the
Right.
sensors, and so if I needed to fine-tune it, I can just grab on one of these sliders
Right.
here and change that.
So you really have fine control over that calibration there.
Right.
All right, now, Jim, over here on this monitor, we're looking at what's called a joint histogram. Now, what is that? That's connected to this glove, I take it, right?
Yes, it is.
And I'll put
I'd
that
like to
on?
Put that on.
Okay.
Each one of those histogram bars represents the value of a sensor from the glove. What we have up at the top of the screen, 0 to 255 directly from the A to D converter. And
Okay,
so as you
I've
move-
got the glove on now.
Should this be boomer?
And
Nah,
it's
I don't want to date my
showing
thing.
the status of each of my joints. So I'm bending my index finger.
Right, and the joint names on the side are
Yes.
inner thumb, outer
Cyber
thumb,
meter
index,
is more for like
I
when
can sort of
we're
spread.
seeing 3D stuff
That's
fly
the, what do
around.
you call the abduction.
That
Right.
glove probably stinks.
Okay, now what is the point in this particular histogram? Is this how you would develop it and fine-tune it?
Well, these
It's
are the
Stuart
actual
Chaffee.
values that the
He's
computer
kind of
is
a
getting. And
timeless
from that,
person. I don't
we're
want to.
generating this graphic hand model that we're displaying here on
Right.
the screen.
I
So
haven't
the
looked at
actual
their
hand model
hair.
that is drawn is dependent upon the graphics processing
I'm not very-
capability of
I'll
the
do
computer,
one.
although in any case, those are
I'm
the
one
values
amazed.
that the computer
Yeah.
receives.
All right, Jim, I want to ask you next to show me what you can actually do now with the glove and how you can interact with the computer.
All right. We're going to be using a Silicon Graphics workstation for our graphics processing. We have a standard PC that's doing gesture recognition. We have a couple instrumentation units, one for each of the cyber gloves that we're wearing. and some instrumentation units for various electromagnetic position sensors.
Okay.
I don't know.
Now, the glove you have on, I see you have a black switch and an LED. What's that for?
Well, that actually enables the gesture recognition capability of the glove.
Okay, so your glove is on. Now, show us what you can do. What do we see on the screen here?
Well, this is our virtual workspace where you could use a head-mounted display to actually be immersed in the graphics, but instead we're just displaying it here on the flat-screen monitor. What I'm able to do, and rather than using a mouse, I'm able to just make a hand formation, for example, the fist here, and the screen will actually follow where
Yeah, I don't know. I'm losing track.
And doing different hand formations like this, we're able to
getting a little
change
cyber
the
in here.
modality of the system. For example, I'm able to move this little green cursor. I can move it in by making this hand formation. I'm able to move it just in the XY plane.
Yeah.
Changing a different hand formation, I can move just in the Z dimension.
You guys are right about the stinky meter.
Single finger, I'm able to move.
I just feel that
green
every
cursor
time he
and
moves
the
his
setting
hand.
plane anywhere in 3 dimensions at the same
The
time.
I take it this is actually a design
the
tool of
unwashed
some sort,
tech
so you
glove.
can manipulate that object and build something?
Right. I can position the cursor inside the object, and I can just, by pinching my fingers together, with a very natural
I really like
movement,
these episodes.
I'm able to
this show.
actually grab onto the object. After we've positioned it, I'm able to grab, for example, a face
and you can change
of the,
shape
object.
of it.
And
it's the kind of thing you would do with a mouse, pull and drag only in 3 dimensions.
Right. You're able to do tasks in 3 dimensions here, which is something you can't do it with a mouse, and you're kind of get a feel for graphic material by doing this. And again, I can change the view, and if I would like, let me just grab it with a 3-dimensional move, and now I'm actually moving that edge off into the 3rd dimension. You can see how I've really pushed that out, and that's something you can't do with a 2-dimensional mouse.
I see you have a toolbox icon there. What do you do with that?
Well, it allows us to pick from a subset of tools. For example, here is a pencil, and as we move the pencil around in space, we're able to generate a 3-dimensional space curve, which is something that would be very difficult to do with a 2D mouse.
We can actually see the shadow of that line in space.
Let me rotate the wheel. Right. And then you can see it from the side.
Okay, what are the other tools there?
Well, the other, for example, we have a saw, which will actually separate the object.
There's no hair yet.
Over and just
maybe these meters should be what's on screen? No.
And now I've
okay, I think
cut the part.
How many polygons are on that bit thing? 1, 2,
for example, yes. And so let me just pull the front piece away.
What do we got there? That might be about right.
You now have 2 pieces there.
We have 2 separate pieces.
You sawed it in half and you pulled it.
Oh no, now even more.
All right, how do you actually start out making one of these figures with a primitive shape?
Right, we're able to open the primitives box and then actually grab one of the primitive shapes. For example, this is just a box. We also have cylinders and pyramids, and then these are just the same as the other objects that we started with. You can start by just extending it.
Stay tuned now for this week's computer news on Random Access.
I gotta put the good hair. You know, it's pretty good hair.
In the Random Access file this week,
I want to replace old,
summer edition with
not old
on
person,
software.
just old.
Here are last week's best-selling software titles for the PC according to PC Connection. Stacker 2.0 was #1, followed by the MS-DOS upgrade, EMM 386 6.0, Approach and After Dark for Windows. Rounding out the top 10 are Windows 3.1, WordPerfect 5.1, Norton Utilities, and both Procom Plus for DOS and Windows.
She doesn't
Next
stink.
up, Paul Schindler.
She smells good.
Summer software review.
Maybe one stinky.
You ever have this problem?
Oh.
Different kinds of Rolodex cards? Meshing them is tricky. The same goes for PC databases. Now, if you have data in both Paradox and DBase files, there's help from a Windows database called Approach. This database allows you to manipulate files created by the 2 top PC databases, DBase and Paradox, as well as corporate data in an Oracle database. Use graphics to jazz up your forms. Approach makes it easy to switch from form design to form test and back. Here, form design isn't a separate program, it's just a click away behind the pencil. Click on the stack of papers, and you're back looking at your data. The walking fingers put you in search mode. Another set of buttons, just like those on a VCR, enables you to go to the start or the end.
I'll give him one
Anytime you
hair.
double-click on a field
Oh
in
my
design
god,
mode,
where's the
it
jazz
brings up a
meter?
menu
That's a
that
good
allows you
point.
to change any aspect of the appearance or content of that field. Approach is $400 from Approach Software in Redwood City, California. For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Paul Schindler.
That's it for this week's Computer Chronicles. I'm Janelle Stelson.
Computer Chronicles has been made possible in part by PC Connection and Mac Connection, mail-order software and hardware peripherals for the PC and the Macintosh, and the Software Publishers Association, providers of educational materials to help manage software. Don't copy that floppy.
Videocassette copies of this program are available. Computer Chronicles also publishes a companion newsletter containing details on products demonstrated, plus background information on program topics. To order a videocassette or a subscription to the newsletter, call 1-800-366-9484 or write Computer Chronicles. Please specify program subject for tapes. All orders include a free software program for auditing software use.
Alright, folks. Anyone got any suggestions for websites or videos? Maybe I'll go... Maybe Net Cafe would be appropriate. Net Cafe. Alright, let's see here. So while we're waiting, I can knock a few of these guys around. Okay, and let's see here. Alright, any of these catching anyone's eye here? Not this one. You jerks. Alright, let's see here, that one. You're looking at, it's a new thing I made. Oh wait, it's not, what game is on here? Oh, I didn't update the information, you ding dong Jay. There. Update. Okay, so I gotta pick a humor online. Oh, that's a good idea. Or is there a different one called humor online? Humor on the web? Humor on the web. Okay. Alright, so maybe we need to replace some of these meters then. Alright, let's see here. I like this one. Oh yeah, big laughs. Okay. I'm gonna replace ancient with that because I don't know. Okay. Oops, that was an accident again. Because I pressed B. Okay. Alright. We'll move this over here. Alright. Alright, so let's make this full screen. My program does meters and different things for, well, what I was gonna do is look at things people made for Hypnospace for my game, like old web pages, fake web pages. I don't know how much you know about Hypnospace. Anyway, and use these things to give people awards, like best dog joke, and then it would look like this. Yeah, you did it. Anyway, and see here. Yeah, it's jazzy, you could say. Turn the volume up on that. See here. And other such things, and then I can do this if I feel like I need to de-stress. And I can make objects and make them bounce around. Alright, so let's do this. Let's watch this episode and see if we can. Hey, in the chat, think of awards too. To that I can award this episode, and if you think of any good meters, then or counters. I don't think we need lies. Who's gonna lie? Do we need lies? Maybe lies could be funny. Oh, a joke counter. Jokes. Dadgummit, I didn't mean that. Okay. Jokes. Alright, we're gonna reset that to 0. It's a new episode, everyone. How do I... Oh, well, I'll just put it down. Alright, 0. Let's put all these to 0. Alright. Is Stuart gonna help us again? Stuart likes to like paraphrase things and say things in a less tech jargony way for the audience. So I might keep that there. That's just his thing. Yeah, for when they say when someone tries to make a joke, then I will. It's when like to us, you know. Best pun. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, cool. Stuart should be in this. I think jazz meter is more abstract, like level. Like if it's very jazzy at the moment, then we put it up. And if there's like very little jazz, if there's very little jazz, then it goes back down. So should flops be a counter or like a like a meter? I'm ready to get started. I might do the floppy meter though. All right, I'll do that. I'll just keep it gray. Floppy. Dang it. I didn't mean to make a planet. All right, let's do this. All right, so I think that's good. Everything arranged well. Okay. Okay, flop. Okay. Should I call it the floppy meter or the flop? I'll call it floppy because then both. This may be too late for floppies. No, I don't know. Maybe not. All right, let's do this because this is the internet too. So.
This week on the Internet Cafe, humor on the web. Welcome to the world's first virtual comedy club, thecomedyspot.com. John Arnold used to be a practical joker at school. Now he's making a living running a prankster's website called The Rubber Chicken. If comics and cartoons are your idea of humor, check out the 40K Miracle, real anime.
Okay, hold on. I'm stopping. Hold on a second. E-commerce. Amazement can go away. No one's going to do that. Snark? Should one be snark? Snark needs to be like different colors though. Snark.
Animation on the web. These guys must be Dilbert fans. They make fun of corporate America on a very funny website
Was that
called
a
The
joke?
Corporation. And if you like your humor with an edge, we'll show you the web's leading satirical zine at suck.com.
It suck.
Humor on the web this week at the Internet Cafe.
The Internet Cafe is brought to you by Z Auction.
Hey, I'm
a live
making
online
meters
shopping
while I
experience.
watch things for a little bit. This is a thing I made to show
Additional
Hypnospace
funding
pages.
From PC Connection and Mac Connection. The catalog and online
I think that
superstore
was a
with
joke,
PC
I
and
guess.
Mac products, toll-free technical support, and overnight delivery.
Suck.com.
And by Windows Magazine, delivering desktop.
You can still read all of the
enterprise, and
archives of
internet computing
Suck.com,
news,
though it's hard to
reviews,
get,
features, and
understand any of the
how-tos
jokes.
for a Windows world, because the world runs on Windows.
Is this slightly
Additional
e-commerce?
funding from SoftSource Incorporated, publishers of Pro One software, educational software for young adults.
This is not stinky. There's no hair on the screen.
We're talking about humor on the web here. And
For an older fella,
strange
pretty good
sense of
hair.
humor, a lot of the stuff that's on the web, don't you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I have a roommate.
Okay.
Speaking of strange
Of
things.
jokes throughout the
No,
day.
wait, your roommate has to send you email?
Well, you know,
That's
there's
fun.
there's these email chains
Right,
that go.
right,
well, he's
okay.
at work, I'm at work. He sends me. You know, I must
I'm
get
being very
15
loose with my
things a
joke
day,
definition.
and, yeah, some of them are funny, but most
But
of them
that's sort of the old-fashioned version of humor on the net. I mean, now you've got real websites that try to be funny, like comedy shows.
Speaking of comedy shows,
Yes?
I'm going to talk to a gentleman tonight about stand-up comedy on the internet.
Really? Like live stand-up comedy? You type it or talk it?
Both.
Really? Looking forward to that
talk
one.
about a tough audience.
Yeah, really. You can't hear the laughter. How do you know whether you're
Exactly.
good or not?
Sounds kind of strange.
I
We'll
think
see.
there's a limit to what you can do on the web. I think the nice thing about humor on the web is humor is so personalized. We'll all look at something on the web, and you'll think it's funny, and I won't think it's funny, or whatever.
And I'll
So it's
probably
not, and you'll say, I don't care.
That's tasteless. So, Joe, you're the editor-in-chief of Suck.com. Talk to me. What's it all
Joey
about?
Enough.
Suck.com
Enough.
is not a porn
Enough.
site.
Thank you.
It is a site for adults, for sophisticated, intelligent adults who like to read about what's going on in the world, what's going on in the world of media, and want to see what's happening on the web.
So when did you get started with this?
We started in 1995, August of 1995, which makes us 2.5 years old.
You're ancient in
It's
internet years.
Oh, why don't I have the
incredibly
ancient meter,
veteran
dadgummit?
for web years.
So now what's the angle? What was the objective behind starting Suck?
Well, the whole goal was to skewer all of the targets that were presenting themselves at that point and doing it completely anonymously, without any bylines, without any photographs
I
of
should have kept
columnists,
the ancient
without
meter.
anything, so that nobody
Sorry.
knew where this thing was coming from, and it was just sort of slapping people down like whack-a-mole.
Now what you're doing, the interesting thing about Suck is that it is a daily online
I like
column,
Joey enough,
basically.
and also Carl
The daily
Stedman.
aspect of it was
Is it Carl? Yeah.
our suicidal impulse
started
at
it.
the time.
Suck.com.
We thought that nobody would ever remember us if we didn't do it every single day, and if any
Oh,
2
arbitrary.
times I went back
All
to
right,
the
hold
site.
on. All right, I gotta start that. Oops. Okay. This one can be. Do you need to see me, really? Alright. This is too much to deal with. I need help. Okay.
They saw 2 different things.
It's always a new experience. The interesting thing, when I went to the website, I was struck by its visual impact. It's really different than most online zines I've
Yeah,
ever
it's
gone
not
to.
ugly.
So talk to me. Explain what was the rationale behind what you're doing.
Well, we thought we'd do away with all of the trappings of the website circa 1995, a big menu, you know, a gigantic image that
Lots of
couldn't even fit on
hyperlinks.
your screen when you first hit it, and instead just axe all that and get right to the content first thing you see.
Okay.
And that's what you've got. Now, you've also used a lot of really good graphics
Yeah.
as well. And you have a cartoonist on
That's
staff?
that's
or-
because it's a staff of 2, me editing, Terry Colin illustrating. And the two of us produce everything. I find writers, and he illustrates everything.
Carl, I guess Carl
So what
left
are some of the
at that point.
articles that you've had?
Well, just this week, I mean, we've commented on the death of Chris Farley. You know, we've talked a little bit about Sonny Bono, Michael Kennedy. We talked about the Bond series. Turns out that Martin Scorsese's been approached to direct the new Bond film, and
Folks, I have just been informed that this program has been given an award, and for their progress that they've made in clown graphics.
a little bit about Sonny Bono, Michael Kennedy. We
They
talked
have
about
been given the Good Clown Award.
the Bond series. Turns out that Martin Scorsese's been approached to direct the new Bond film, and Quentin Tarantino has also said that he's interested in directing a Bond film. So we decided, well, we're not going to wait for their films.
Joey.
We'll just write the screenplays ourselves in their voices and put it up online.
Do you think I'm going to see this on the big silver screen anytime soon?
The big
I think the chances are very slim.
You might be right.
Are these jokes?
So what's next for Suck.com? What are you going to be doing?
Well, we'll have another column next Monday, and then another Tuesday, and then
her
all
hair's good.
subsequent
His is okay.
daily.
I'm with you. Now,
What?
there's one thing
Is that a
that's interesting
joke?
about the site is that you do have different experiences each day. You've got different things going on.
There's sort of a loose, fuzzy logic to the way we present our things. We usually have columns up there, but usually you only see them on Mondays and Tuesdays. And on Wednesdays, we have a comic strip. On Thursdays, we have just one paragraph, hit and runs, we call them, about things that are happening online. And on Fridays, we have these big bandwidth-choking feature presentations that are usually presented over 10 or 20 pages. Really take a lot of time. You really have to shirk.
No,
really
joke
have to
points
wanna go
can't
there
go away.
for that one. And net.mogul, what's that all about?
NetMoguls was a feature that we finished. It's a completed set of online virtual trading cards celebrating the net's richest moguls.
It's
for no other reason than the
I have a full
Just kidding.
understanding.
Okay.
It's a great site. Also, if you don't want to go online, you now have the choice to buy a book.
People have a lot of reasons to want to avoid the online world, and this is another one of them. You can get Suck offline now.
I love it.
For URLs of today's featured websites, check out the Internet Cafe site at cmptv.com.
There was definitely some of that.
All right, John, we're talking about humorous sites on the web, and you guys have some of the craziest ones, rubberchicken.com, aprilfools.com. What's the idea behind these two sites?
Well, they're humorous sites on the web, and again, we looked at April Fools, and again, that particular holiday didn't represent wasn't nicely identified.
He smells good,
as a
I can
traditional
tell.
holiday. And we
You don't
tried
get the day off.
Right, well, you don't get the
You
day
don't
off.
get presents.
No, but
You can have a lot of fun.
You can send the gift of humor on this holiday, and we're trying to sort of incite that a little
All right,
bit.
now let's talk about some of the things you can do on aprilfools.com. You can send out fake mail, for example.
Right.
Now, what is that?
Fake mail, these are
added
things that
floppy for
physically
the
end up
last
in
segment.
your mailbox.
Real mail.
first.
You get a letter in the
Absolutely.
post office.
Real mail, and you can send out official notices like
Like
carpool
what?
lane violations, nude lawn
Dang
mowing notices. I mean, there's just a
You
variety
guys are
of
just
things.
troublemakers, right? You just create nasty, phony letters and send them out.
We do. It's something that, it's expanded
I
our
guess
business
that was
line
jokes.
dramatically, and humor
Sorry, Stuart.
segment was something that we weren't
I don't
really
wanna be
focusing
mean.
on.
Now, have
prior
you
to
used this yourself to send out fake mail?
Yeah,
Like what?
I've done it a number of times. I sent the carpool lane violation to my dad, shocked his
Does it
world.
look like an official notice from the Department of Motor Vehicles?
That's right.
Yeah,
And
what else?
If
see,
he's
I have
talking
sent
about a
actually
joke?
just about every one, but I've said SAT recalls. I mean, there's been just a number of things that I've done to family and friends.
All right, so you can send out fake mail, real mail, and you can cause a lot of trouble. But not only on April Fool's Day, I assume, right? All right, you've got something called a virtual vacation. What's
Wait,
that?
there was a lie
Virtual
there, wasn't
vacation
there?
is actually postcards that you fill out online and that actually get postmarked from remote.
I can't handle these laughs.
Where you really were. Like today, I was really in Dallas or whatever.
Alcatraz or Australia or a number. So we actually have arrangements with these locations to actually postmark and then drop them in the mail for you.
Wow. All right, now another thing you can do is fake news stories. You can actually create a story out there on the web with you in it, and it's not.
That didn't age
the
well.
headline news is extremely popular. I mean, again, you have to know some personal tidbits about the person that you want to fool.
Yeah.
I haven't been keeping
say like
track
Bill
of weird
Gates,
camera
you're,
movements.
Bill Gates' secret mentor, and you put some things
Bill
in there, and your
Grates.
name show up in
And that story
lights.
gets posted on the web, and people read it, or you tell somebody to go look at it.
Well, you tell somebody to go look at it.
Right.
Hey, I found this. Is this you? You know, and,
Right.
and then you'll let them kind of create the aura around it on their own.
Anybody sue you guys? I mean, people are going to get into trouble with some of this stuff.
It's very simple fun. I mean, disclaimers, you know, all over the place. But I mean, again,
was an actual
the web is so good at facilitating communication. We want to do something
Fake
humorous.
communications, right?
Sometimes. So.
All right, now you can also
That
actually
was
put
a
up
joke,
fake
maybe.
web pages, I understand.
Well, we call it our bogus web page
Yeah.
section.
How is it
There's an
fake?
internet error locator service where somebody gets
They're
the
real,
feeling
man.
that they're going to receive a fortune, and another is the Internet Indecency Committee is contacting
So, like, you might send me an email saying, "Hey, you just won $10 million or something. Go identify yourself on this website."
That's right.
And it's all a scam.
It's all
This guy, for being a guy who makes
good,
a
clean fun. So.
Wow.
joke
All right,
website,
now,
he's not
how is
saying a lot of
rubberchicken.com
jokes.
different from AprilFools.com?
Rubber Chicken is really kind of the more physical side of
They're killing me here.
some of the
Yeah.
pranks that we're doing at April
You do
Fools.
physical pranks on the web?
That's physical pranks on the web.
Like what?
Again, this actually has some of the more of the humorous greeting cards involved with it. You can
Okay.
get the same fake mouthpieces. We have a target finder, which is we partnered with InfoSpace, a company that has email lists and so on that brand and pull it into our services. So, I mean, all those things basically make up the entourage of things. Well, I guess, I mean, I did my fair share, but the entire group
There was a
is,
joke there.
Pretty creative.
And now you're
crazy.
making a living out of it on the web.
Trying to.
Cool idea,
Definitely.
John. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
For
job,
URLs
John.
of today's
Oh man,
featured
yeah, the
websites,
font
check
idea
out
is
the
a good
Internet
idea.
Cafe site at cmptv.com.
Alright, I'll do it.
So Gabriel, you are a web animator, which I take it is somewhat different than a television or a movie animator.
It is.
Tell me, what are some of the differences?
Well, the biggest difference is that you have to worry about the 28.8 modems and people downloading things in a very slow way.
So you're worrying about the pipe, how to get it into people's homes.
It's a little tiny pipe like
Right,
this, and you have to design your animations from the beginning so that they'll be able to fit through that tiny pipe.
Okay, so what does that mean? No grandiose, giant designs and
It means
graphics.
that basically big, full flamboyant Disney animation. You have to do things in a very simple way, in a very stylized way, and sound and humor really have to carry the brunt of the joke.
Okay, so it's got to be a good joke, and so is this sort of relating back to maybe the beginnings of animation or something like that?
Yeah, we are going back to the old Rocky and Bullwinkle days.
I like that. I used to watch that as a kid.
I love those cartoons, and they're great to watch because they figured out a way to do things in a very simple way with very few drawings. They called it almost like illustrated radio.
Okay.
And basically what that
it's
means...
like those old flip books we used to make.
In a sense, and it's basically like the sound, which happens to transfer very well over the internet, because you can stream it.
Okay, meaning it comes down in little bits and pieces instead of one whole big chunk or file.
Right. It streams much better than images. So, like those old cartoons, we try to put more emphasis on the audio.
Okay, well tell me, what are some of the cartoons that you've created in this Bullwinkle style?
Well, we had a site called the 40K Miracle, and we
That's a lot. We'll call his
40K,
justification.
right?
Exactly, that was the whole point of the
Lies.
site.
Pretty small.
It's
file.
pretty small.
Audio is
it takes about 30
audio is
seconds
more
to
important
download
than
on your average modem. And the idea was
the picture of an
our
animation.
focus was to try to cram an enjoyable experience into
Audio
40K.
is very important.
That was
I
the
like
point of
this
the whole
website.
site.
Right.
very
So what
nice.
are some of the things that are up there?
Well,
up there.
we did one called Wayne Takes a Percentage, which is basically this kid Wayne comes into a store and starts eating half of all the candy bars. and the manager's like, what's going on? And it turns out that the candy bars say on them 50% free. So he's eating his half, his free half.
Good. So they're kind of like, they rely on like sort of one sight gag kind of things to get them going.
Exactly. You have to basically hone down the humor to one point almost, and then deliver that point very well.
Right. Kind of like the Saturday Night Live skits they've been having recently.
Very similar.
Yeah. So what kind of technology do you need? I've noticed a lot of sites I go onto in Alaska, you have to download a plugin or something like that. How do you get these files?
We tend to take advantage of the Shockwave technology, which is one of the more popular
Where is
plugins
it?
that's out there.
Okay.
It does support streaming, which is really important.
So Shockwave is just a file. It's a little language that allows you to create these animations and send them down over the web.
Exactly. And part of Shockwave is a part called Flash.
Okay.
And that's actually designed specifically for animation. And so you've got sound, you've got animation, all streaming, and it provides a really nice experience.
Okay. Now, my impression is in the future, the browsers are going to start sort of incorporating this stuff into them. Do you think that's true?
Hopefully, because the plug-in thing is a real problem. People just don't want to sit there and download the thing
exactly.
and then restart the browser.
Right.
So we're starting to see Java being used instead of the plugins.
Okay.
And it's
Maybe
still
I should
just at
put
the
a
beginnings of that.
not
because the
enough
performance
jokes
is
meter.
still a little too slow.
But it'll come soon, I think.
It will.
I can't imagine it won't. It's sort of like going to turn on your TV and then they tell you, well, you still need one other thing. So,
Exactly.
Yeah. So do you think these animations are going to get bigger? Is that something you're hoping for? What's your goal for
I'm
the
different
future?
from other people. I actually hope that the pipes stay
you are.
small.
Really?
Because we're a pretty small shop at Jig
Okay.
Interactive, and
Right.
we want to compete. We want to be the people who can put stuff out there.
Creating
When the
these-
pipes get huge and it's all like TV, it's going to be Disney and all the big
Right.
shops coming in there. So I'm kind of hoping that at least for a few years, it stays kind of at this level.
Okay, so you're hoping we'll keep chugging away on 14.4 modems, and that'll be it.
Hopefully.
Okay, great. Thanks, Gabriel.
For URLs of today's website, check out the Internet Cafe site at cmptv.com.
Well, a guy named Scott Adams and his friend Dilbert have had a lot of fun pointing out the absurdities in corporate life, and there's also a website that's much the same sense of humor. It's called thecorporation.com, and these are two of the faceless forces behind the corporation. What's the point in this site? You just putting everybody on?
Well, actually,
is there a point?
The point is all about the internet. I mean, the internet is this force, dynamic force in all our lives. I'm sure that's all why we're here. And the corporation is about the evolving of the internet, because a lot of people are afraid of corporations coming into the
taking over this free
taking
space.
over. Oh, I'm scared. I'm scared the corporations are coming. You know, but actually, you know, corporations are good for us. You know, in just about every way.
Let me ask you about, you've got the icon gallery there, which is basically these fraudulent stamps of approval that I can steal and put on my website. What's the point there?
It's more about you know, enriching the lives of the people that are participating in this amazing community of the internet, and about being able to not just, you know, the Yahoos or the whoever top 5 sites, those kinds of folks, but so they can sort of encourage each other and encourage themselves.
There's devalue all of these things then, right?
Well,
Raise
no,
up.
yeah, exactly. It's to
Raise
say, you know, you're not in the top 5%, and that's okay. You can be your own person and take your own reward.
And still get one of your stamps of approval.
That's right. You can stamp yourself with approval.
Now,
Because
along those lines, you have phony banner ads you can put up your website, so you feel like you got a real website, right?
Yeah, I mean, because not everybody, you know, is being contacted by, you know, by corporations.
Right.
And so what they're doing is preparing the way, because eventually, you know, they
Is it
will
a
have
joke?
some sort
Are
of
they
ad on their
snarking?
page.
Right.
And this is sort of like, you know, helping them participate. Help them participate in the great things that are happening on the net.
Level the playing field, right?
Right.
Be like the big guy.
Right. You know, everybody wants to be a
up.
corporation.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of, you know, you just kind of feel left out when you go to a site and there's
This
no
last
banners
guy
on
is
it.
very
There's
jazzy.
no ads.
Let's
It's
talk
very
about
sad.
some of the important internet issues you guys deal with on your site. You deal with kiddie porn, right?
Absolutely.
Only K-I-T-T-Y. Is this a big...
Yes, but not anymore, thanks to us.
Cats being abused, I mean, naked cats on the web. People staring at young cats.
Yes, unclothed cats, cats put in, you know, lascivious positions. You know, it was quite a problem. But you know, we've gotten a lot of accommodation, a lot of loves come back from the site. We've got cool pet site of the day, and you know, we got a lot of people
I know a
talking
meter
to
I
us and
need.
saying, you know, thanks for noticing and
Protecting
thanks
this
for,
abuse on
thanks
the
for
net.
helping. You know, because the internet is this big pool. You just put something out, and you never know what's going to come back. You know?
Let me ask you about another thing I really like on the corporation, which is the carpal tunnel workshop. What is the point in this thing?
Well,
well,
I think the point is really, you know, protecting people,
Yes.
helping them like really like use the internet in a safe way. Where They're not going to get
It
hurt.
is a nightmare. This the forms from hell thing, right? To fill in this.
Right.
stuff?
Well, let's face it. A lot of people don't have carpal tunnel syndrome, and they're feeling left out. And you know what I mean? It's like they, you know, they wouldn't be there in the first place unless they either
Yeah,
already
I've definitely
had it, in which
missed
case, you know, what difference is it going to make? And so, and if you don't have it, you can join in. You can participate. You don't have to be left out of the cultural revolution. You know, we're going to come up with some kind of you know, advanced you know, ADT site or something like that, you know, for the other people who can't finish
Sentence.
sentence.
Yeah, all right. Now, I mean, is there some serious point here? I mean, is there something, I mean, humor usually has some serious point, making fun of everybody. But is this, I mean, you're really trying to be critical of a lot of the BS corporate stuff that goes on based on your own experience?
Well, I think actually what we're trying to do is we're trying to
make some money on the web.
No, we're trying to emulate the corporations
right.
that are on the web to show that, you know, they're not
the best and the worst.
They're not scary. You know, like Microsoft, you know, where do you want to go today? They're asking you. You know, they want to be your destination. And,
all right,
they're organized.
Thecorporation.com. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
For URLs of today's featured website, check out the Internet Cafe site at cmptv.com.
So, Peter, what's the deal? How do you do stand-up comedy on the internet?
Well, we weren't sure if it was really going to work, but we knew we wanted to give it a try because it was a way to give people a shared experience in a chat environment where we like to say it's like if you go into a bar and there's no TV and no pool table, no jukebox, what do? You say, how old are you?
Sort of your typical chat room experience.
Yeah, so it gets pretty boring. So we picked what's the best and most popular graphical chat environment in Dallas. And wanted to give people a way to go into a room together and see a performance. And we got together with some folks down in Santa Monica, the Creativity Club down there.
He's working with what he's got. I can't.
There and,
and her hair is enough for both of them.
So we were quite pleased with the results, as were the comics and the audience as well. The response was very good.
So now, you called this the comedy spot. You basically had these comedians who came in, and they were basically in front of a live avatar audience, if you will. So these are graphical representations of people in the chat room. Now, and how did it happen? I mean, typically when I think about a comedy routine, I think about some guy up on stage with, you know, funny gestures and strange ways of talking, and then I hear the audience laughing and people are picking on other people. And how does that experience translate into a chat room? How does that happen?
Well, we were actually able to work it all out except the voice. That was a bit of a problem, but because people talk
I think you're right.
Balloons. But we did have a laugh track where the audience was able to, on their own machine, click in certain areas.
I need to adjust
laugh
the
and
sound.
Guffaw and chuckle
How's
and
this?
groan at all the routines and
okay.
really give the
Tell me how this is.
Of a real club as the comedians were performing.
So what was the experience like for the comedians? I mean, this must be a completely new way of trying
Does
to
that
convey
change it?
comedy.
Yeah, for some of them it was a little difficult because they had to get used to a different type of pacing where they had to give little snippets in these balloons, and people can't read a bunch at a time, so you had to sort of spoon it out to them a little bit at a time.
So the timing changed quite a bit.
The timing changed depending on their routine, of course. Some comics it worked better than others.
These
we found
jokes
that
they're
the
showing
comics
on the
that
screen, I'm
relied
counting.
More on text than voice for their routines, more than on the jokes, more than the characters, were the ones who worked best. People like Dan Klass and Dr. Science and Will Durst. Did very well.
So slapstick, you know, running around on the stage, obviously,
yeah,
you're going to translate
prop
on the
humor
internet.
was a little rough, although you could use props because it was a graphical environment. But it was mostly people who had very good one-two-liners with little catchphrases on the end.
So what's the experience for the audience on the other side? I mean, having these avatars, these graphical representations of yourself, and you're interacting with the comic as they're going through their routine, is that right? So what was the feedback from the audiences that participated? What did they think?
Well, they had a really great time, particularly being able to heckle the comic, and they liked it best when the comic had good comebacks for them.
Right.
Like, you know, someone would say, "Hey, are you a real comic?" He says, "I don't know. Are you a real audience member?" Or whatever. So it's or referring to their avatar, whatever they were wearing at the time. So and people would also be able to talk to each other about the comics performance during the show and after the show as well. And we found people would then hang around the room and hang around the palace and take part in some of the other activities just as a result of stumbling in to see this comic performance.
So now at your website, now all these comedy spots are over. They were done last year, but you can go to your website and see some samples of the dialogue?
Yeah, see samples of a complete performance with the audience interaction as well, and we've also created recorded performances of all of the comedians that can be seen on demand at the Palace in sort of a comedy jukebox.
That's a really exciting concept. It'll be interesting to have a look at it and see how it evolves over time.
Great, thanks.
All right, well, at the very beginning, you didn't think you would go to find funny stuff on the web, but did you see anything to change your mind?
They don't
Well, I'm still going to tell my roommate to stop sending me these emails, but...
No, why is your roommate sending you emails?
Well,
Can you just, like, knock on the wall?
It's the web, man. You
All
just
right.
shoot them into the next room.
You guys are really
right?
wired.
Yeah, exactly. No, but, you know, the sites that are showing animations, to me, it still is a little bit too retro. They described it as actually radio with pictures. I mean, it's not
well, it's
video.
narrow bandwidth. I mean, you can't put Seinfeld on the web quite yet.
I guess I'm too into regular movies and things to be excited about that. But I did like some of the more highbrow humor.
Yeah.
You know, Suck.com, kind of highbrow.
Suck was a highbrow site?
Well, it's a little bit intellectual, isn't it?
I must say, it does take
It's
some
smart
time.
writing,
Yeah,
right?
you need to really take some time and read the article.
They said
and it's something
snark,
you digest
so I have
with
to...
a coffee in hand, and yeah.
Really?
So, yeah.
Well, I thought you were kind of down on them at first.
No, I probably would have picked a different
Screen
title.
wipe would be good, but
Actually, some of the
I'll
stuff
never
is pretty
remember.
funny. Some of it's a little off, but to each his
All right,
or
we've
her
got
own.
a couple of good jokes, but we're out of time, so you'll have to go to the web to find your humor. As
I'll
Jane
just give him
says.
a joke.
If you want any more information about any of the sites you saw, by the way, check out our website at cmptv.com. We'll see you here next week.
The Internet Cafe is
I should
brought
have
to you
like
by
a
Z-Auction, the live online shopping
browser
experience.
view meter.
Additional funding from PC Connection and Mac Connection. The
Not really
catalog and online
e-commerce, I guess,
superstore with PC and Mac products, toll-free technical support, and overnight delivery. And by Windows Magazine, delivering desktop, enterprise, and internet computing news, reviews, features, and how-tos for a Windows world, because the world runs on Windows. Additional funding from SoftSource Incorporated, publishers of Pro One software, educational
Yeah, I'll do
software
2 of
for
those.
young adults. To purchase a videotape copy of today's program, call toll-free 1-888-310-7850. Please specify the show number and the topic.
The Onion quote. That's interesting. Is this funny? That's just art. All right, folks. Might wrap it up soon. I might do one more something. I'm not sure if watching videos is the best for this format. Okay, videos might be, it just might be a weird format. I don't know. I gotta experiment with this. What do we got? Let's see here. Anyone got some media I should look at or something? I don't know. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Be a simple kind of man. Online collecting. Oh. No, that's not going to be very gamer. Oh, you know, I'll search gamer. Gamer video. We'll go that. Let's see what we get here. Gamer or lamer?
So let's just get right into the stunt work. Tell me about the training.
The training was about 4 to 6.
Oh, that's not. I thought it was a show. Oh no. I don't know if I want to watch that. There's a Computer Chronicles. Alright. If I watch this episode about gamers, what, alright, I'm gonna change floppy count to... Hold on. Let's get into this a little bit. This will be the last one. Floppy count needs to... We need to have a... Stinky can stay for sure. High score? An HP. Alright, this will be the HP meter. Alright, this is my HP. Hold on. Hold on a second. I'll put this under me, because that's my HP. Okay, we're about to watch a thing about gamers. So... Stinky's staying. Jazz is maybe not going to be as applicable anymore, but maybe it should stay for fun. I'm not going to do a boobs meter. Just because, I don't know, I don't know. It's a little weird. Sorry. You know, I'm married. I can't have my wife, you know, watching me stream, trying to pay attention to all the boobs on the screen and keep track enough so I can make a meter go up and down or whatever. Okay, hold on. Okay. Not e-commerce. Okay. Oh, okay. Controller dang it. My shortcuts. All right. Dadgummit. No, not negative. Oh, I can do negative, huh? That's cool. Okay, so anytime they show a controller or a keyboard. Okay. What else? Alright, put this back to 0. That can be there. Should floppy be there? Or hold on, discs should, okay, lies will stay. Fun fonts will stay. Jokes, should jokes stay? I thought I did double click to reset, but maybe not. Oh well. Okay, snark, should that be something else? Should I have a hardcore meter? Oh, dude. Go away. Yeah, toot is the hardcore meter. Negative is bad toot. Oh, a counter. That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, actually. Yeah, sure. Here, boom. Okay. And now I've got this too. I think I'll make it I'll leave it a meter just because I like seeing the level of it. But what's another way? Okay, I got it. I got it. I got it. No. Dang it. Okay. Yeah, I'm bad. So this will be specifically for when someone is like awesome. Now this episode may not have many hardcore gamers in it. Like, who knows? Maybe it's like people who play chess. I don't know. Okay. All right. Are we ready? All right. Maybe this one I will do a little bit more like. All right, I'll rename that to that. Okay, all right. So, should I keep the floppy one? I don't think I'll keep the floppy one. I'll get rid of it. Okay. Sorry I deleted floppy. It's just because it's taking up too much. I have too many. Taking up too much space. Okay, we got good hair. I'm sorry, I got rid of it. Okay. Should good hair stay? I think so. Alright, I think we're good. Is this good? Floppy was kind of a pun because it was going to be when there's floppy disks, but also when a joke flops. We'll see. You might be surprised. Alright. Alright, let's do it. This is the last one. I kind of miss our cyber meter. Think of awards, you guys, too, while we're watching this.
This week on the Computer Chronicles, the best new computer games and online games. Ryan McDonald of GameSpot.com shows us his favorite new games.
Oh, I
Brandon
thought that was
Justice
Ryan.
of IGN.com tells us why it's not the end of the world if you can't get your hands on a PlayStation 2. Jeff Lundgren of Next Generation Magazine shows us a great new game called No One Lives Forever. And meet Dennis Fong, Thresh, perhaps the world's best Twitch gamer, with tips on how to beat those nasty creatures who are out to kill you. Plus,
Twitch
my pick
gamer,
of the week,
huh?
one printer that does two jobs. The best new computer games coming up next on the Computer Chronicles.
Okay, that was all too fast. I'm getting acquainted with my controls here.
To you by RonDiamond.com, the oldies site on the internet. Music and memories from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, not just another jukebox. Additional support comes from the
No,
law
touching a
offices of
printer-
Ivan Hoffman,
printer doesn't
lawyering
count.
with integrity for internet law, copyright, trademark, and other intellectual property law. And by TechWeb for up-to-the-minute technology
You could probably,
news.
there's probably a printer where you could play Doom on it.
Hi, and welcome to the Computer Chronicles. I'm Stuart Chaffee. You know, most people don't realize it, but more money is spent in this country on computer games and video games than is spent going to the movies. It is a huge business, and when a really great new game comes out, that is an exciting moment if you're a gamer. So this week,
You guys gotta tell me when my
bring you up
HP
to date
takes
on
a
the
hit.
best new electronic games, and quite a few of them to talk about. And start off, this is Ryan McDonald, senior editor with GameSpot.com. You've been here before.
Yes, sir.
You were up all night playing games, which you're going to show us one of them in just a minute. You got a couple you like, and one of them is called Hitman, which is new up here right now. First of all, what's the story of Hitman?
It's a third-person kind of shooter game. You know, it's
Sorry.
it's not your typical,
This
you
is
know,
not
bam,
nice.
bam, shooting, running through, you know, trying to stack.
What's different about it?
It's more of a thinking game. You got.
I wish this one could be negative.
You have to kind of plan your attack.
It's okay.
You have to,
My hair's
go
not
ahead
much
and, like,
better.
hide the bodies and
A little brain, a little twitch.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little bit more than just running and shooting.
All right, so show us what the deal is here. So
All
what's the storyline here?
The storyline's kind of like Point of No Return with Bridget Fonda, that cool movie
Okay.
a while back. Basically, you wake up in a bed with no memory or recollection of how you got there,
Right.
and basically you're just told to get dressed and start learning how to fight and how to use.
Where
guns
are you?
and-
What's the deal? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly. So here's part of the game when you just
Oh, yeah,
first
that's
start
true.
and you
Thanks.
got all these cool little knives that you can pick up over here, and you can get a couple of those and you start learning how to, you know.
Yeah, I
use your
did
knife
one
and-
bad dude.
Yeah, you can use your weapons. Yeah, and you got all kinds of fun stuff like different guns and different weapons. Like here's a good old piano wire. You come up from behind and grab a hold of the person.
All right, hold on. I gotta do a new one. I'm making a new one here. I gotta make it red. Can I make it red? Do I have a red? All right, here we are. Okay. All right, let's continue.
And you learn how to do that. So then from here.
Oh
you
wait,
go
he
through
didn't
dresses
actually.
and you get
It was a
master
dummy.
training.
Never mind.
And they actually put you in the field and you start working for like the agency.
Uh-huh.
And so the agency pays you money, and the money you use to buy more weapons so you can do better
You're a
jobs.
hitman.
Yeah, you're a hitman.
Okay.
And so we'll get a little gunplay action right here.
You're a hitman, he said.
But what's fresh about Hitman? I mean, we've had other games
Right.
that were sort of a little bit of brains and a little bit of killing.
What's fresh about Hitman is its exactness, and also it's just all the different cool weapons you get to use and the gadgets.
Okay.
Nah.
It's got a lot of depth to it.
Too
a
many
lot of different
counters,
things
you
to
guys.
do.
A lot of fun toys.
Okay.
But a lot of people didn't like it at first. They had there was little few small problems that the game had. But here's a little target practice for you. But once you finally get
Wait,
into the
that
game,
was
you
some
start
dude.
learning how it works
There's a
and
little
how it
target
plays.
practice
It's
for
actually
ya.
worth it.
Okay. All right, so let's get off Hitman and go to, I know, your favorite,
Yeah.
Red Alert 2, which you've been playing all night long.
Yes.
And let's boot that one up. While we're waiting for that to boot up, I got to ask you the question. I always ask you. I mean, people
Okay.
see this as these kids are learning how to steel rope wires around people's necks and shove knives in people.
Right.
Is it a bad thing for kids to be doing?
To be perfectly honest, I don't think a lot of kids are playing these games. You know, these computers cost a lot of money.
Older guys like you.
Yeah, I think mostly 18, 24. You know.
Yeah.
Sure, I think some younger kids probably play their
Does
games.
it they say desensitizes you to violence. Easier to kill a real guy if you can kill a guy on the
You know,
computer.
for me, I grew up playing this stuff, so I've always known it wasn't real.
No big deal.
One for Stuart.
All right, so let's get to another kind of game, Red Alert 2, which you love. You were up all night long playing Red
Yes.
Alert 2, right?
Yeah, Red Alert 2.
So is it like there's a whole series of games,
Yeah.
right, for Command and Conquer?
Good morning. It's as you see here, there's like news reports going crazy. The story is basically that the Soviet Union has invaded the U.S.
Okay.
And so that's what sets the stage for you, being like the last
She's not
commander in
stinky.
charge of the armed forces, and you basically got to.
Great cinematics.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. They got lots of real actors for this. Western Studios went all out.
All right, so gameplay.
Real
is,
actors.
Story is,
The story is the Soviets have invaded the U.S. and you basically got to repel the forces. And there's 2 discs actually, so you get to play both sides. You get to play as the Allied forces and the Soviets.
Okay.
So it's almost like 2 games in one, in fact.
All right, can we get to the game action
Yeah,
itself?
sure.
So we've seen a little bit of this.
As you can see, they'll throw a little map up here for us.
So use a real-time strategy. You got to garner your forces, keep track of all the stuff that's going on.
If anybody's been familiar with the Command and Conquer universe, they'll totally realize, you know, the different units and stuff like that. But where this game picks up after Red Alert, the first Red Alert is you can do so much more with the units now. Basically, every little tank and every little vehicle, you put different guys in it. There's all kinds of different
Take us
stuff.
around the space a little bit so we
All
can
right.
see.
It's still setting us up. And
Oh, okay.
They got a little video window to carry word in here, and you can see the Soviets are starting to, blast
Yeah.
the Statue of Liberty. And she is going to pop up down here. You'll see her little character.
Okay.
And she's called Tanya. And she's basically like this demolition expert. She can take out all these things with like bombs. So now we're playing.
Okay.
We select her. And you can hear her, you know, saying, "Ready to go, boss." And you say, you know, "I want to sink those ships before they blow up the Statue of Liberty." And here
So
she
this
comes.
is just a lot deeper than the earlier ones. More stuff to do, more options.
Way more stuff to do. But the quality of stuff that you can do is
What's
just
up?
unbelievable. And now that it's, you know, the settings here in the U.S., you
Hey,
get
doggy.
to, you know, see
I'm
full
almost
monitors
done
like
with this. I got about
And,
20 minutes left.
If you're an allied force, of course, you're repelling the
Hey,
forces,
doggy.
or you're guarding it.
All right, so Red Alert 2,
Yes.
must have. We don't have time
Oh,
to
we
show
have
this,
a
but I know there's
dog.
another game you like, and this has just incredible graphics. Sacrifice. Just tell us briefly what's cool about Sacrifice.
Sacrifice is really different. It's a real-time strategy game as well, but like
Gorgeous
nothing comparison.
pictures.
Beautiful, beautiful game.
Tilly?
And it's got a storyline that, you know, anybody that's into fantasy stuff really like.
doggy.
Okay, so let's review for folks who talk about. We showed Hitman #1. Okay, that was a game you liked.
Yes.
All right, that was the violent one. Shoot 'em up. Red Alert 2.
Fantastic.
You gonna lick
Hey,
me?
great game. And finally, beautiful game, Sacrifice. Your 3 picks.
Good game.
Hey, Ryan, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, well, another great gamer site on the web is IGN.com. That's part of Snowball.com. These guys, of course, also live and breathe computer games and video games. Here to tell us what's hot from their perspective is Brandon Justice. How you doing, Brandon?
Pretty good.
You are like the Sega Dreamcast expert, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, now, everybody's like crazy over PlayStation 2.
this
and
guy's
I gotta
bad.
get my PS2. And people think, you sure that's Dreamcast, this old stuff. Do I have to like panic if I didn't get my PlayStation 2?
Well, not really. To be real honest, the only reason you might want to panic is if you were really wanting to watch that new DVD you
You
got.
want a DVD player?
Yeah, but you know what? Circuit City has them on sale right now for 90 bucks. Run out and get one.
So you don't think PS2 is worth all the mania, huh?
No, not really. I
I
think
mean, the online thing isn't really there yet, right?
it won't be until probably Q2 next year. for
Yeah,
some.
I already
And
hit
even
the
then it's gonna be
live one
broadband,
there.
and it's very limited. I mean, I know I heard you saying that you don't have access
Right.
where you live, and it took me forever to get it where I live.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can just imagine what it's like in the rest of the country.
Okay.
But
And actually, Dreamcast, pretty cool graphics, pretty great action. The online stuff is there. It's a pretty respectable platform, right?
Hey, Lee.
definitely. As far as games go right now, nobody's putting out more great games than Sega.
Right. Now, the online stuff is what I want to focus on you. That's what's really cool about this. We're online right now with our Dreamcast, right?
That's right.
And you've got a hot game, NBA 2K1 up here, which is online, play basketball against other dudes, right?
Right,
All right,
right.
so you're online right now. Just sort of tell us what's going on here and get us a game going here.
All right. Basically, we're in the lobby.
Is it a hot game?
You can challenge different users.
So you got
here.
chat here.
Right. You got a chat lobby where you can find games. There are tons of users connected. And it
There's a lot of
shows.
trash talk here. This is like real basketball stuff, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Definitely lots of hoopsters, lots of ballers. This guy here's been talking some smack, so we'll challenge him a game and see if he's ready.
All right.
All right. And basically, you can challenge anybody in the lobby to a game, and whether or not they accept is up to them. But
All right,
they
now,
can.
is this a one-on-one game, or are you playing a
more
full
of
game?
those.
We're going to play 5-on-5. Hopefully,
Okay.
his nickname's Exhibition Man, so hopefully he's all about the exhibition.
All right.
He didn't apparently want any. All
I
right.
didn't want to play with you.
Yeah, we'll go check somebody else.
Okay, so these are the guys that are on. You can actually filter who's in there and decide what kind of connections they have,
Right.
whether you want to
Yeah,
play
you
with
can
them.
filter based on connection, whether or not they have a keyboard. We got a game here.
All right.
All right.
So who are you? You're Lakers.
He's the Lakers because he's a wuss.
Okay.
You see, that's what the bad players do.
So who are you going to be?
I'm going to be the Clippers because I'm not
Clippers
afraid.
fan. Oh, Clippers, Lakers.
All about the
Not
Clippers.
Afraid. Okay.
Let me talk
So
to
show
him
us
here.
what this action looks like here. So I'll let you go. You just tell us what you're doing.
All right, right now we're setting up the game. We're picking teams, and basically he's ready to go. I'm ready to go, so I send my controller up.
There was definitely
He
a
goes
joke
down.
in there.
Does it matter if you're on different speed lines?
Actually, everyone connected
All right,
right
that's
now
fine.
for
It
basketball
should
is
be.
playing via the 56K modem that comes
Okay.
packed in with the Dreamcast.
Oh, that is awesome.
Broadband modem is actually coming out in early January for the system, and then people will be able to get
So to do
fast
what you're
connection.
doing, you just need the
Maybe a
basic
lie.
Dreamcast console.
Right,
It's
right
got
out of the
phone
box.
jack. Okay, go.
Yeah, everything you need for online gaming outside the games is
Right.
ready right out of the box. All you need is a phone line, and you're good to go.
All right, so what's happening here? Guys are still chatting down there.
Yeah, I got to talk a little trash. Tells me good luck. I say, you'll need it more than me. All right, he's got it paused.
All right, tell him we got to go here. This is a TV show. He's
Yeah.
messing around in the middle of the night.
Stewart has some good hair for his age, I guess. So.
All right, he's making subs here.
I give him a 1.
He's got to put J.R. Ryder in the game, you know. He's a Lakers fan. I'll give him that. I'll give him that.
So do a little coaching here, a little managing.
Yeah, you can, before the game,
Hey,
you can set it up,
Moon.
decide who you want in the game, who you want to defend.
Okay.
You know, that's what he's doing right now.
Here we go.
And you've got your game intros, which is actually pretty cool.
Okay, so the play and the game control is basically as if you're the same single player, right? Except you've got the other guy on the other side. All right, go.
All right, here we go.
I'm playing my own role.
Yeah, you can do.
Oh, okay, he's going to get killed. I'd like to try that. What is he doing? Let's change the camera. All right, so
so
now,
one player
we are
can do that.
online right
okay,
now.
so you're playing live right
Yeah,
now.
he's trying to back me down. He's got no game, though. I'm ready for Shaq. Oh, the big fella's going to dunk on me.
All right.
Nothing you can do. As you can see, you know, sometimes it's a little choppy, but overall it's pretty smooth.
I was just going to ask, I mean, the magic is here. I mean, you're 56K, and this is pretty darn good action
Yeah,
here.
especially for sports.
Yeah,
all right,
I mean, it's pretty smooth action.
All right, we're going to take him off the... He's not ready. Oh, come on. Oh, shoot.
Okay.
There you go. There's a little action replay.
Wow.
That's Lamar Odom.
That's a frag,
Rhode
yeah.
Island, throwing down.
That's the equivalent.
It's pretty smooth.
You got a basket.
And depending on your connection, it's better.
Yeah.
Sega has their own ISP, actually, which is they designed from the ground up.
Yeah.
So
how responsive is the action when you're playing the game over there? I mean,
it's definitely
no
responsive.
problem.
Yeah, right now it's shooting a free throw here.
Suppose you want to trash talk and play at the same time. You got a problem.
Well, that
Need a
depends.
partner.
Yeah, well, you know, you can help me out here. Pick up the keyboard, lay down a little smack talk. Basically, yeah, you know, you can do it if you're playing, but you know, since we're trying to speed things up.
We have a little bit of time left.
Great,
I want
son.
you to
Hope
mention
you're
a new
having
game
fun.
which has just come out, which is really cool.
How about you help your pops with the yard this weekend? Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's just a little demo. The game's not quite out. Can we take a look at that real quick and you get rid of these guys?
Yeah, sure thing. He
there?
just said, hold on real quick.
Oh, there you go. Good timing.
I hate it for him, but I gotta go. All right, sorry, kiddo. Yeah.
Sorry, kiddo. That gets
We're going to take a look at this because this is sort of another level
I wish
of
the
gameplay
Tude
for
meter
kids.
could
It's
go
not
higher
sports,
because
but really encourages team play and takes advantage of the online stuff.
Right. It's Fantasy Star Online. It's from Sonic Team, the creators of Sonic Adventure,
Right.
Samba de Amigo, Knights, a lot of
Hedgehog
Saturn, Genesis classics.
Yeah.
This is their newest game. It's actually going to be the first console online RPG.
Will it?
Very similar to Baldur's Gate.
I don't believe
Right.
anyone when they say a thing is a first, so I just say it's a lie
One quick
there.
thing I want you to mention as we take a look at this, which is interesting, this is really a global game, right? You can play in any language when you're playing this game.
Yeah, the way it's set up, Sonic Team has actually created sort of a universal translator where you can put together your own words and phrases, and it has certain words it recognizes, like, you know, you can put together, I want to fight, and that's in there, and it will translate that into any language.
So you're playing some guy in Germany, it'll write it in German, France, French, etc.
Right, exactly.
All right, we're out of time, Brandon. We got to run, so thanks a lot.
Pretty hardcore.
All right, coming up next, several other great new games. Plus, you'll get to meet perhaps one of the most famous gamers in the world, the legendary Thresh. We'll be right back.
Website.
Another great resource for the latest in computer gaming is Next Generation magazine. And here's a guy who has a great job. He gets paid to review new games for the magazine. Welcome to Jeff.
Was that a
Ludwig. How you
joke?
doing, Jeff?
I'm just fine.
Oh, you got a couple games I know you really like,
Yes.
and one of them is the new Mech Warrior, Mech Warrior Vengeance, or Mech Warrior 4.
I'm going to put this up so I can put it back down again when the guy gets on the screen.
Well, Mech Warrior is basically, it's a game about
There we go.
giant fighting robots, which, you know, is a great thing to do.
22nd century
Yeah,
warfare
exactly.
or whatever.
They're just huge lumbering tanks. You can think of the walkers in Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they're like. Only they're a lot more complicated and they have a lot more firepower. So,
All right, so what's different about the new Mech Warrior compared to the earlier Mech Warrior?
well, this latest Mech Warrior is a lot more of an arcade feel to it. It's a lot easier to jump into. It's a lot easier to play. You can just kind of get in and go.
Okay.
Has a lot less of the resource management that the old one did. It has a lot less of the nitpicky.
Are you still building your warriors, though?
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Folks, we've got an award. I was just informed of this, and yeah, I'm just going to present it. Wow. Congratulations.
The classic Mech Warrior thing is to go out and shoot another robot and then salvage it for parts for the next batch that you send out.
All right, why don't we get it up here and take a look at what it looks like here? So
we do that.
Play a little game here. So we are out in the desert
We're
somewhere,
out in the desert,
and that character is you.
That's me. And we're
What
currently
are the
under
pieces of the
fire.
screen? Just explain what we're seeing here.
Okay, well, down there off on the left is my status screen. You'll notice I've already taken some hits. my upper pods there are sort of yellow, whereas only my left leg is green because that's the only place that hasn't been hit.
And you're actually consuming energy and generating heat by
actually
actually
consuming
functioning.
energy and generating heat. That's correct.
I
And the
missed
more
one.
heat that I generate, the less well my mech will work. So you've got to kind of be careful about picking your shots and not just going all too crazy, and making sure you've got the guy in your sights before you go loading on him, because otherwise you're just going to run out of gas, basically.
So, I mean, what's the strategy here other than just sort of shooting at these guys until they fall?
Well, that's the one thing about this game that's sort of different from before, because what used to happen is
he's got
traditionally what I'm
smoke
doing
stink
here is you
lines
just
on
target
him.
the guy's legs and wait until he falls over and then he's helpless. They've kind of adjusted that a lot in this version.
Not quite so easy to
it's
do.
not quite so easy to do.
Did he
Battles last a lot
get 'em?
longer. They're actually just a hair more difficult on the whole. But it's still a lot of really great, just giant robot action, and you can't really go wrong with that.
But the difficulty is really not wasting your resources, not wasting
Good job,
your energy,
man.
Not
dying
wasting your
before you kill 'em.
resources, being real careful that you don't blow up too much of the other guy because you want something to salvage at the end of the day.
So you're going to use those pieces to build your next robot.
Exactly.
All right, now, before I want you to get to another game in a second, which is your other favorite one you want to show us, called No One Lives Forever. But first of all, I got to ask you about the mother of all joysticks you have here that you've been playing with. What is the deal here? This is huge.
Yeah, this is the Microsoft Force Feedback 2. It's their latest Force Feedback joystick. You can see it kind of jumping around in my hand. Every time I take a hit, it takes a bump.
So it's got the force feedback. What I know is you can actually rotate and twist that joystick,
You can rotate the joystick left and right. You'll notice that my torso goes this way, right. As well as turning to the right, so I can then go this way. And that's a real handy thing to have. It's also got like about 12 different buttons on it, so you can pretty much program it for any game.
But it seems to me like joysticks are not as hot as they were before for games.
Not as hot as they used to be. I think the main reason is just they've gotten so
big.
Right. I mean, look at this footprint. I've got a keyboard, I've got a mouse, I've got a monitor, and right in the middle of it all, I've got this.
I don't know. I was thinking the joystick
might be stinky. Before we get to the next game, I want to ask. We're talking Microsoft here. Their joystick, their game.
Their joystick, their game.
We've been talking about the PS2. We've been talking about the Dreamcast so far on the show. Now they're coming out with an Xbox.
Yeah, they are.
What's going to be special about that?
Well, it's going to have a hard drive and a modem inside it from the get-go to start with. It's going to be real easy to develop for, at least according to all the developers that we've talked to. It's not exactly off-the-shelf parts, but it's parts that people are really familiar with. And so it's not going to take a whole heck of a lot of resources.
So it could be hot.
Could be hot. Could be very hot.
All right, so let's take a look at the next game here. It's called No One Lives Forever. Right. Let's take a look at the game and tell me why you think it's so cool.
Okay. Well, the coolest thing about it is that you can see it's kind of a first-person shooter, but unlike most first-person shooters, this isn't set in some crazy dystopian future. Or,
this is the past, not the future.
This is the past, right. In fact, this is set square in the middle of the swinging 60s.
This sort of Austin Powers-y feel.
Very much so. You are an operative. You're Kate Archer. Okay. And she's the only female operative of an international super spy organization known as Unity. And as such, not only do you have to battle against these awful, super spies of the terrorist organization HARM, you've also got to battle against the sexist attitudes of all your colleagues who keep telling you, who keep telling you this is not a suitable job for a woman. And
you're not Lara Croft here.
No, you're not exactly Lara Croft. Now, I'm just kind of going gung-ho about this, but the fact is that this game actually, requires a lot more stealth than I'm letting on.
Okay, explain what you mean by stealth here.
Well, it means you have to sneak around. You can't just let...
Okay. So if they see you, you'll get blasted.
Right. If they see you, you will get blasted. I've actually done something very wrong at this point by letting you see me do it. But notice how... Oh, shoot.
Oh, no.
So a little bit of thinking here. Again, once again, it's just not shooting them up, but figuring out how to not be
We respawned.
Right. And it absolutely nails its subject matter, too. It's a really cool thing. It's based around all the silly spy movies from the 60s.
So it really is a spoof off the James Bond-y type stuff.
Exactly. And it's got levels that are based around every spy movie you could think of. It's got a ski chalet. It's got an underwater spear battle.
He's not as bad as the guy who's playing Doom.
Yeah, it really is. And as you're walking around, like all the guards are having conversations comparing the dental plans of the different, evil organizations that they work for. So it's very tongue-in-cheek.
All right,
It's
No
a hell
One
of a
Lives
lot
Forever.
of fun. Yeah.
Thanks much.
Thank you.
All right, well, if you've played games like Quake, you know how hard this can be on your fingers and on your brain. In fact, it ought to be an Olympic sport, I would think, because the guys who are good at these games are really kind of athletes in a way. One of the best of them is the gamer named Thresh. His real name is Dennis Fong, and this is Thresh over here. How you doing, Dennis?
How you doing, Stuart?
And what I was talking about Quake, and people don't know, a couple of years ago, you were considered like the best Quake player in the world, right?
That's right. Actually, it all culminated into this big Quake tournament featuring Red
I'm a little late on that one, sorry.
Which you won.
Which I ended up winning.
You won,
right.
and you were too young to even drive it at the time, right?
Not quite, but I couldn't quite.
It was a stick.
It was a stick, and I didn't actually
Right.
know how to drive stick at the time.
So you know this stuff. Now, there's a new version of Quake out now, Quake 3 or Quake
He has
Arena.
a baseline
First of all, what's
sum-tude.
new and better about this than the original Quake that you played?
Well, Quake 3, the new one, is actually a lot more arcadey.
Oh, okay.
It's software the developers of Quake have simplified it.
It's okay
to where
here.
It's much easier to get online to play against people. It's
Right.
better than the
fight
last
opponents,
guy.
and it's also much easier to kill your opponent. Because what they found were the really good players would
He
just
doesn't
completely
strike me as
blowing
stinky.
everybody away.
Right, and so the newer players found it very difficult to get into the game and get into the flow. So this
Okay.
new Quake 3 is much easier to play.
Primarily online? Multiplayer?
It is primarily online.
Okay.
It's actually made for multiplayer.
36
Got it,
hair.
multiplayer.
That's good.
They do have a single-player component, but it's not, as opposed to the previous versions of Quake, the earlier
Right.
versions, there was a storyline and there was a kind of a story that you
Right,
played through.
right.
In this version, you just play against bots.
Okay, since you were the master of the original Quake, I mean, do you like this one more or less? Is it more of a challenge, less of a challenge?
Well, Quake has always been a classic, and it still
Right,
is a classic, and it's it's kind of back at my roots. But
Right.
I have to admit that Quake 3 is incredibly fun to play.
All right, we have it up here, so give us an idea what Quake 3 looks like.
Well, essentially, Quake 3 it's almost, I guess the easiest way to explain it would be like paintballing on the computer.
Okay.
Essentially you run into the game, and we have 3 bots playing against me right now.
Okay.
And essentially you pick up weapons and armor, and you go after each other. And whoever ends up, as you kill an opponent, you get points.
Right.
And at the end of a certain time limit, whoever has the most points wins.
All right, now, keep playing here, Dennis, but I want to ask you, for people who are maybe not into this as much as you guys are, we've seen a lot of these games, and they sort of all look alike. There's a gun at the front there, and there's a bunch of guys, and you blast away. And some people have trouble understanding what the kick of this is. Explain what the thrill is of playing this game.
Well, I mean, it's, because it's all real time. I mean, it's essentially like Cowboys and Indians all over again.
You
but
can't
it's
stop
virtual.
and think.
Right, exactly. So, everything happens in real time. When your opponent moves left, he
So
moves
it is
left
this
and
real,
you
like,
freeze.
adrenaline rush. I mean, you got to be there or be dead.
Oh yeah, and actually, if you're playing alone at night in the dark room,
He doesn't have much
sometimes
toot at all.
if your opponent pops around a
That's a
corner,
good
you can
thing,
jump out of
I
your
think.
chair. Basically, it's pretty neat.
Right. But a little bit easier for the novice to maybe get into playing it.
Quake 3 is definitely much easier to get into.
All right, now I want to talk to you about another game. Now, about, I guess it was 2 years ago, we showed the original Half-Life when it first came out. And that was a great game, of course. And now there's a newer version of Half-Life, again, a multiplayer internet version of it. Tell us about that.
Well, Counter-Strike is essentially, it was actually created by 2 guys out of a garage.
Huh.
And one of the really neat things about these games is that it's modifiable. And so what they did was they took the original Half-Life engine and modified it and started building on it. And actually, they didn't do any marketing for it. They started off as a very small community. And as more and more people started playing this game, it just started picking up
So really
steam.
kind of grassroots. So, I mean, is it really related to Half-Life or not?
Well, the neat thing about Counter-Strike, as opposed to a game like Quake 3, is that it's based entirely on realism. Meaning, in Quake 3, there are things that you can do. You're playing predominantly with a rocket launcher or a lightning gun, and you can actually rocket jump and jump like 500 feet
But
in the air.
Half-Life is like life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in Counter-Strike, it's kind of like the Navy SEALs or SWAT team versus terrorists.
Right. Give us a quick look at it now.
Right. This is Counter-Strike, and once again, this is a modification to Half-Life, the original game.
Okay.
And so the really neat thing about this modification is that you can download it for free over the internet.
You have the original Half-Life.
Exactly.
Right, that's cool.
So
yeah, this isn't meant to be internet multiplayer. We're not really online right now because we didn't have time to do it. But you're just going to show us the terrain here. I guess.
Exactly. Well, as I said before, Counter-Strike is based on real life, and this particular level that we're playing is based on Las Vegas.
Okay.
And so, as you can see, the MGM Grand type stuff.
Right.
And essentially,
so what's the realism in here? I mean, what do you have to do?
Well, in Counter-Strike, the differences are that first of all, for example, the weapons. If you hold down the weapons and fire, they're not always going to hit the same place. Just like in real life, there's recoil.
Ah, it moves around. Okay.
Exactly. Number 2, if you hit certain parts of the body, it does more damage. So if you hit the head, he's going to die instantly.
Got it.
So there's a lot of those real life elements. Here you see a vending machine that you can't really buy anything, but
all right, so sort of make-believe game, but very realistic make-believe game.
Exactly.
All right, Dennis, thanks a lot. That's a look at the latest in computer games. Don't go away. I'll be back in just a minute with my pick of the week. Now for my pick of the week. We all tend to have an output problem these days. You need a good, fast business printer for your spreadsheets and word processing documents, etc. But you also need a spiffy color printer that can do digital photographs or greeting cards, that kind of stuff. Well, up until now, that has generally meant having two different printers if you're serious about either one of those functions. But I have found one printer that actually does both very well, and that makes life a lot easier and cheaper. It is this new Epson Stylus Color 980. I actually use it as my business printer and as my fun printer. What amazes me about the printer, it's an inkjet printer, yet it is really fast, about 4 seconds per page. In fact, this baby overall is faster than the laser printer I was previously using. But it also gets you this, incredible quality 8x10 color photos from your digital camera. And even this print only took about 90 seconds to come out. The other thing I like about this printer is the user interface. When you hit print, a nice friendly little dialog box pops up, lets you know the printer's working, spitting out sheets, even if it's off in another room somewhere. You get visual feedback on the status of your ink cartridges. The printer takes either a parallel cable, serial, or USB, and it even makes it easy to do double-sided printing for things like booklets or pamphlets. It is the Epson Stylus Color 980, and the price is only about $200. That's it for this week's Computer Chronicles. Thanks for joining us. If you have any questions about anything you saw on the show, please check out our website at computerchronicles.org. Hope we'll see you here next time.
Oops. Wait a minute. Sorry. There we go. All right, folks. Now, just for fun, I will award one of you a prize. So you have to pick which one of you in chat is the most deserving of a prize. And you can't say me. You have to pick someone else. So you have, I'll give you a timer. Oops. You have 50 seconds. Do it now. And you have to pick also what the prize is that they win. Oh my god, only 30 seconds, people. Get over here. Oh no. I'm not even paying attention to the chat, so you guys have to say who the winner is. You better suggest someone. Oh no, 8 seconds. Alright, who is it? Who wins? Alright, let's see who wins. Alright, so... All right, folks. Congratulations, you win Skull Millione. All right. Well, that was fun, I think. I'm not sure if video is the best format for this, but we'll see. This is what's about to happen in the bathroom with me. Actually, I just have to do number 1, so not yet. Anyway. Yeah, no problem. I'm glad you kind of liked it, hopefully. Anyway, now it's time to... I should make the bombs blow up everything. That would be fun. Alright, folks. See you around. Thanks for hanging out. It was fun. Talk to y'all later, next time. I don't know. God bless. Oh, that's a good idea, actually. Alright, bye!